The journey of self-discovery. Who we are and why we are here. An essay by James Mahu. Question. There are many spiritual teachers who say it is best to not seek truth. To just let truth find its way to us. Be in allowance and openness, and that's enough. But how does one remodel their belief system? By being passive? It seems like it would require great effort and discipline to change our beliefs and behaviors. Answer. It is an individual thing. Every life is different. Some require discipline and effort, even great energy, to make a change in their belief system, while for others it may seem like a natural and desirable evolution. This is why, in part, there is no specific process or path that is appropriate for everyone. Even if there were only 2 humans on Earth, their path to truth would be different. This is why there is such diversity in knowledge. We are not the same, nor are we in the same spacetime, even though we are all living on Earth. Our local universe is singular, unique, and one of a kind. Thus, as we awaken to our innate desire to understand who we are and why we are here, we awaken within a moment that is utterly unique. There's a tendency to see similarity in behavior and beliefs. We glom them together to make it easier to connect and have empathy with another life. Yet, if we were to compare the life streams of 2 individuals who thought they were extremely similar, every single moment that comprised their lifetime would be different. Every single aspect of their local universe would be different. Similarities are not the bonds between different life forms. In truth, it is the differences that really bind us, because in those differences we see the diversity of one and all. We see how impossibly complex one and all must be, and what kind of intelligence would be required to orchestrate and inhabit this diversity of life. To colonize space-time duality as an infinite soul consciousness is not a trivial task. It is inconceivably complex. Yet, notwithstanding that, we are part of that intelligence. We are empowered with accessibility to that intelligence simply through our belief in its existence and our commitment to understanding who we are and why we are here. At that specific crossroads where space-time meets duality in a moment of our awareness, we can feel the nudge to expand our belief system to include those 2 simple yet profound questions: who am I and why am I here? Not in terms of a passing whimsy, but in terms of unending commitment, because that is when the real awakening occurs. Anything less than unending commitment is a passing whimsy, a temporal exploration that ultimately ends in disappointment, confusion, or distraction. And while a passing whimsy seems to carry a negative judgment, it doesn't. The passing whimsy is our system of delay, so we can explore our local universe with wider latitude, finding joy in the human experience and understanding human culture. The real seeking begins when we feel within us, as a sovereign individual, that we want to become more of our infinite self. We want to form a partnership between our finite self and our infinite self, and by doing so, we begin to answer the questions: who are we, and why are we here? We are curious about how our local universe can become a higher harmony between our finite, human self, our infinite self, and our interconnectedness to the intelligence of one and all, the organism of which we are all parts. Regardless of what words we use to describe this, whether they originate in a religion, philosophy, or a new brand of metaphysics, we are describing the same thing. Words can formulate our beliefs. They can add information that adds density to the definition of our beliefs. They can bring heavy, undesirable baggage to our journey that will slow our progress. It is important to understand that we move at the pace that is suitable for each of us. We all unfold differently and at different rates of awakening. There is a reason for this: we have free will, and we are exquisitely unique. We have absolute control of choice in our inner world, and that is enough reason that an infinite number of paths lead to our understanding of who we are and why we are here. These infinite paths include everything. There is no exclusion. The more confused we are about who we are and why we are here, the more our paths become tangled in the human-constructed, collective universe. These entanglements are the headwinds of human culture and social programming. They push our beliefs into collectivism or social groups, when all this time, within each of us, is our infinite self. We have tuned our consciousness to the realm of the finite self and the local universe therein. We have submerged our awareness into human culture in order to survive and possibly thrive. If we want to understand these questions and build an unwavering commitment to evolve our understanding of them, we must face ourselves as we are. We are an infinite soul living in a temporal body who collectively create a universe of space-time that is perfectly suited to our level of understanding of who we are and why we are here. There is no judgment that can be made. We are all infinite beings. That ant, that bird, that mouse, that whale, that tree, that raccoon, all infinite beings. If life exists, it is infinite, not the physical form, but the energy embodied within and without the physical form. That energy, which is of the highest frequency, is infinite. It always exists. While the form we inhabit is temporal and subject to duality, joy and pain, birth and death, we are not only the form of density and materiality. We exist in the multiverse of space-time duality as a sovereign consciousness that is forever connected to the planetary consciousness that is forever connected to the universal consciousness that is forever connected to the infinite one and all. When we can set aside judgment, seeing all things as infinite, sovereign beings with their own unique pathways of understanding who they are and why they are here, then we can see ourselves as we are, the amalgamation of a finite and infinite being interconnected to one and all. Judgment is the entanglement. Judgment is simply not understanding who we are and why we are here. It is the fundamental miscarriage of human life. We have birthed a belief in our true self, and yet we miscarry it to the point of action. Our behaviors belie our burgeoning understanding. We believe tepidly and behave accordingly. Judgment rules, and we shudder our awakening. We contain it. We slow it down. We forget, again. However, once the behavior of non-judgment and unconditional love and kindness is rooted in our human consciousness, and it is practiced imperfectly, we evolve our understanding. We find our understanding not because of curiosity and effort, but because of behavior and belief. You could argue that our behavior and beliefs are a result of our curiosity and effort, and I will concede that it is, but it is also not true for all. We behave what we believe. We can hold these beliefs inside us. They do not have to be made explicit or expressed physically. They can be internal. Once they are held internally, they will begin to grow out of us organically and evolve into new behaviors that become our second nature. We live in a consensus reality. Even our spouse or family can be a consensus reality, let alone the culture at large. If we try to practice non-judgment and unconditional love at all times and under all circumstances, we might find ourselves inadequate, and we would question our resolve, purpose, value, and so on. We can practice our understanding internally, allowing it to evolve within us. And we become our first proof of concept. That is to say, our internal understanding and practice are directed to us. We practice on ourselves, internally, and no one needs to know. No one needs to approve. No one needs to participate. From there, we let it seep into our local universe to the best of our abilities, knowing and acknowledging that we are perfectly unique, and as such, there is no process to follow, there is no benchmark or standard to achieve. In the final light, the only truth we seek is to understand who we are and why we are here. Once we understand this in our own unique way, the behavior of unconditional love, the empowerment that we are infinite beings interconnected to one another and to the Creator of us all, is possible for any of us. Isn't that the truth we seek to understand, and the behavior we seek to receive and transmit within our local universe?